Hey guys, it's Russell back, and on today's video, as part of our Bring That Mercedes Back from the Dead, this is going to be an aftermath video. For some time, you guys know I've been talking about wanting to do the motor mounts, and I didn't realize how bad one of them actually was. This motor mount, and the reason I'm doing it this way is because I had to get my neighbor to help me. This really is a two-person job, and I don't think he wanted to be filmed, so out of respect for that, I didn't film it, and this would have been way too hard to do while I was doing, but I'm going to take you through the entire process. So what I did was, this is the driver's side motor mount, and it wasn't as bad. It was starting to crack right there. You can see the cracks, but this is the passenger side motor mount, and it actually was just sitting like that. So also these motor mounts are about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch compressed from where they should be. But yeah, this is what oil, when it drips on the rubber, it degrades it. Usually the driver's side one degrades the fastest because of the diesel fuel that gets dripped on it from when you change your filters. But in addition to that, I also did the shock. Now, the motor mount on the passenger side is right down there, and there are 2 bolts that attach the mount to the frame, and there's 1 bolt from underneath that attaches the mount to the arm. So basically what I did was I put the car up on ramps, and I took the bolt out of the center of both of the mounts. Then I came up to the top, and through a variety of extensions and hex sockets was able to remove both of the bolts from the mounts. Then I took a jack with a piece of a 4x4 piece of wood, put it under the oil pan, lifted the engine up actually quite a bit, and was able to slide the heat shields, or the protective shield, and the mount out. On this side I had a shock. There's the top of the shock. On a 5-cylinder Mercedes, there's a shock on each end. On the 240D, it's just one on the driver's side. And I'm going to let you see if the camera is going to pick up. Here's the new shock and the rubber. And let me get the light so you guys can see if you choose to do this job. Okay, right up in there is the hex bolt that you have to remove. And then on this side, now taking everything apart is easy. The problem is that when you go to lift or let the engine back down, the holes don't want to line up very good. So I had to leave the jack on the pan here and have him pull on the valve cover over so I could get the bolt started. So that is basically the job in a nutshell. You know, it's not, if you got somebody to help you, it's not hard. I've done this by myself, and it is a royal pain because you're trying to get under here and put the bolt in and try to move the engine over. It's horrible. So if you do this job, just have somebody that can help you. The shock, I probably could have left that old shock on there, but since I had everything off, it's very easy to replace. And I had to take the shock out anyway to get to one of the bolts that attach the mount to the frame. So what did I gain by doing this? Well, I have to tell you that I would say, and this is just a guess, but I would say that the vibration from the engine now, when it's in drive, is probably 90% reduced. I still have a little bit of shaking, but when it's in gear, it's the same. Okay, there's a little tiny bit of vibration, but it was so bad that I was having to put it in neutral when I would come to a stop, because the whole car was like a paint shaker. But this is far, far better than I expected it was going to be. And You see the engine has just a bare little shake to it. Some of that may be, these are, I believe, the original, probably the original nozzles, and that's going to be on my list to send these out and get them all balanced. This engine should be rock smooth, so, but it's far better than it was before. So this is one of those projects that I didn't want to do, but I am so glad that I've done it now because of the dramatic improvement in drivability, and that's what I was looking for. So yeah, gonna have more videos. I have not forgotten the soap tests. I will be getting back in that. I just have been so busy with trying to fix this poor Jetta. I'm going to show you guys real quick what's going on. So the Jetta has a brand spanking new rebuilt injection pump. It won't fire over. It'll crank and crank and crank and won't fire over. I've got a new timing belt on there. I've checked 1,000 different things. You can see I even have the fuel tank bypassed to eliminate any problems of any lines clogged, which there's not. And I wanted to see if it was drawing fuel in from the reservoir, and it is perfectly. I think maybe, and the guy that rebuilt the pump suggests that perhaps something is going on with the timing. I've done a timing belt on here about 5 times over the last almost 400,000 miles, and it was dead on, but it's possible that the crank cog pulley may be moving a little bit, which, you know, we've got good pressure. I did a compression test. We've got great compression, so the only other thing really could be timing. I don't know. If anybody has any suggestions, I have exhausted everything I know about this, so it is what it is, but I'll make another video on that. But anyway, I appreciate everybody's viewership. As the engine warms up, it gets really smooth. So I'm going to enjoy not having to put this car in neutral every time I come to a stop. Guys, I will see you on the next video.